my name is Joy, and I am going to go over business structure. Okay, so before I do my presentation, let everyone put their money hats on, right? So we're talking about business. I don't care if we already have a seven-figure business. I don't care if we haven't started our business. I don't care if we're running our business out of our house or out of our mama's house. Every multi-million dollar business has started in a college dorm room, in an apartment, in a garage. Okay. So we're thinking you have the next Netflix, the next Amazon, the next Apple. Okay. So for the next 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to break down the proper business structure that we need to have for our multi six and seven figure business. So when we start a business, we're thinking about a business, we're going to start something. A lot of times we think, well, let me first start the business and see how it goes. Let me first kind of get this thing going and then I'll form my LLC. I don't want to waste the money in forming an LLC or a corporation until I know this thing is going to work. And let me tell you the problem with that. Number one, regardless of how small our business is or how big our business is, you probably have assets. You probably have a house, a car, some money in the bank. If we don't form an LLC, if we just maybe go get a DBA and start doing business, well, then now we're doing business exposing our house, our car, and our money in the bank. If something were to go wrong, we will lose our house, our car, and our money in the bank, and we don't want that. Okay. So we are thinking about starting an online boutique. We are thinking about doing lashes. We are thinking about starting a catering company. The first thing we want to do is form an LLC. Well, why? Forming an LLC separates the business from you. So let's just say I form Joy's Barbecue. I'm going to be doing barbecue ribs and chicken. I accidentally left the barbecue sauce out overnight and it spoiled. I didn't know it. I served it to my customers. They got sick with food poisoning and they sued me. They're going to be suing the entity or the person that they did business with, which is my LLC, not me. So if they sue me and my business is new, it may not have anything. They're only going to get what the business has, which is nothing. Or let's just say we got a couple of dollars in the bank. I'm only going to lose what the business has. I'm not going to lose my house, my car, my money in the bank. Okay. So we are thinking about starting a business. We just started a business. The first thing we're doing is forming this LLC to separate our assets from the business. The second reason why we want to form our LLC in the beginning of the business stage is because one, it's going to reserve our name in the state that we're in. Okay. So a lot of times when people start their business, I want to wait until I get my LLC or corporation. Let me just kind of see how this thing is going. And the next thing you know, because when you're in your business, when you're in the nitty gritty, when you're, trying to make ends meet, or we're growing the business and we're getting the inventory and we're doing the marketing and we're wearing all of our hats, a lot of times we forget some of the foundational things that need to get done. The next thing you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years have gone past and we still haven't formed our LLC. But there's something called goodwill. Goodwill means people know your name or they know your logo, right? So I do Joy's Barbecue. I'm gonna first wait and see if this bad boy starts to make money. In year 3 or 4, Beyonce happens to stop at Joy's Barbecue, on her tour, and the paparazzi shoot her and Blue Ivy walking out. And the next thing you know, I have a line wrapped around my barbecue. So now I'm just trying to maintain the growth and get the inventory, and I'm trying to expand my business. And then someone says, have you formed your LLC? Oh, I meant to do that. Now I'm in year 6. Everyone knows who Joy's Barbecue is. I am slanging and banging. Everything financially is great. I go run to the Secretary of State to form my LLC. And guess what happened? Someone took my name. So now I cannot use Joy's Barbecue. I now have to rebrand. I now have to come up with a new name. I now have to trash all of my paper cups, all of my to-go bags, all of my to-go containers that has Joy's Barbecue on it. I now have to get a new logo. Well, if you know that Joy's Barbecue is the happening spot, and now I'm changing it to J&H Barbecue, I'm now going to lose customers just based on the goodwill. Nobody knows what J&H Barbecue is. I now have to spend money to rebrand my business, get a new logo, change the name, get new marketing material. So when you don't form your LLC in the beginning, besides asset protection, separating your assets from the business, you now may lose your business name, right? If Chick-fil-A lost their name, if McDonald's lost their name, they would be losing something big, because goodwill, what your name means, is an asset. Now, an LLC will only reserve your name in the state that you file the LLC in. If I want no one in the US of A to be able to use Joy's Barbecue, then I need to get a trademark. That's something separate, okay? So one, we want to form our LLC when we first start for asset protection to separate our personal assets from the business assets. Second, we want to form an LLC so that we reserve our name in our state. Third, we want to form an LLC because, baby, it makes you look professional, right? I believe in the concept, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you want someone to invest in you, if you want someone to patronize your business, you need to have at least enough wherewithal or enough gumption in you to be like, hey, I'm doing something for real, so let me treat this like it's a real business. There is either we're going to be in the business streets or we're going to be in the side hustle streets. Okay, we can't build a 6 or 7 figure side hustle. It's not going to be able to sustain itself. You may hit 6 or 7 figures in a year. You won't be able to sustain it because you're not running a real business. Okay, so we're going to say I am doing Joy's Barbecue. I am cash flowing. I finally got my business to make a profit. And same example, Beyonce and Blue Ivy came on her Renaissance tour and they visited my restaurant, and she said it was the best barbecue she has ever had in her life, right? And so she wants to now partner with me in expanding Joy's Barbecue, and she says we should have one of these in every state that my tour goes to, right? She sits me down with her business attorney. They're saying, hey, we want to invest in Joy's Barbecue. I don't know what you put in this sauce, but baby, can't no one touch this sauce. We want to give you an investment. What entity, what LLC, what business do we write this check out to? And then I say, oh, you know what? I haven't formed my LLC yet. Are they going to take me serious? No. Okay. So when you want to be taken seriously, when you want to say, hey, I'm really running a business, and we're mindful that real businesses start in apartments, real businesses start out the trunk of people's car, real businesses start everywhere. So don't look at your current situation. Don't look at the negative amount in your bank account, or maybe the bank account says 0, and say, well, I'm not a real business. Baby, yes, you are. Okay. You're starting just like Apple. You're starting just like Netflix. You're starting just like Facebook. Okay. The first part and the hardest part of forming your 6 and 7 figure business is starting and believing in yourself. So once you have started and you believed in yourself, let's go ahead and do it the correct way and lay the proper foundation. The foundation of your business is the business structure. We don't want to get things going and then we got to form the LLC and change the name. We don't want to get things going and we got a lawsuit. Now we lost our personal assets, right? We don't want to get things going and we have an opportunity of a lifetime and we lost it because we didn't have our structure in place, right? So the first thing we want to make sure to do is that our structure is in place, okay? So we're going to form our LLC so that we separate our assets. We're going to form our LLC to reserve our name in the state that we're in. We're going to form our LLC to give our business credibility. Okay, that's why we're forming our LLC. Now, a lot of times people will also form their LLC and they say, I'm gonna form one LLC and I'm gonna run all my businesses out of this one LLC. I'm gonna have one LLC, but maybe I'm doing Joy's Barbecue, I'm gonna do Joy's Lashes, and I'm gonna do Joy's Boutique. I'm gonna have one LLC, but I'm going to get a whole bunch of DBAs under this one LLC. Well, let me tell you why we don't want to do this. Okay. So, number one, every business needs to be separate for the most important reason, asset protection. Okay. So, let's just say my original example, I have Joy's Barbecue, right? Beyonce and Blue had lunch. The paparazzi got them coming out of Joy's Barbecue. I have a line, a 2-hour line every day out the door. Joy's Barbecue is slanging and banging. I am making more money than I can count. I can't keep my inventory. I can't keep the barbecue in stock, right? I don't have no problem paying my bills. I have now grown my company. I now have 2 locations. I have company cars. I have nice barbecue equipment. And Joy's Barbecue is paying all of my bills. It's paying my bills at the business. It's paying my bills at home. It has my kids in private school. It has me living behind the gates. I'm driving a luxury car. These kids are in football, basketball, cheerleading. Life is great. And then I say, you know what? I always wanted to do lashes. So I'm gonna go ahead and start Joy's Lashes. But I was talking to my homegirl, and she said, "Well, girl, why start another LLC? Just go get you a DBA and do Joy's Lashes." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna get me a DBA, and I'm gonna just do Joy's Lashes under the Joy's Barbecue LLC. And then if my lash company takes off, then I'll form my LLC because I don't feel like paying $500 to have someone form my LLC, and if I'm gonna just cut some corners, right?" So I form Joy's Lashes. I don't form Joy's Lashes. I get a DBA and I'm running everything under Joy's Barbecue. Well, let me tell you what happened. I'm great in barbecue. I may not be that good with lashes, right? So maybe I put too much glue on someone's lash and the glue got caught to someone's contact and the contact melted on her eye and she went blind in one eye and she sued me and I was out of order for putting too much glue on and I didn't have her sign any kind of waiver of liability. So I'm on the hook for the medical bills, any kind of pain and suffering because I didn't protect myself with the correct contract, i.e. a waiver of liability. Girl, I'm putting this glue in your eye. This is not normal. Something may happen. I didn't do all that, right? So she sues me and she gets $1 million judgment. Well, technically Joy's Lashes is a new business. I don't have anything, but because I did not form a separate LLC, I ran everything underneath Joy's Barbecue. When my last client sues me, she gets to touch all of the assets of the LLC, which is Joy's Barbecue. So she's touching my barbecue money. She's touching my barbecue equipment. She's touching my barbecue vehicles. And she's getting to touch everything that don't got nothing to do with Joy's Lashes. But because I combined everything into one big pot of gumbo. She's getting everything. Now, because she got everything, now she's touching the cash flow of my main business that's paying these bills. So now I'm coming up late on paying my rent at my main location of Joy's Barbecue because she took everything, right? Now I'm behind on my mortgage at home. Now me and my husband are arguing because he don't understand, well, what does Joy's Lashes got to do with Joy's Barbecue? And I'm saying, well, I didn't form the LLC, so they took everything. So now I don't know how we gonna pay this mortgage. Now I gotta take my kids out of private school. Now they can't do golf and ballet and football. Now we talk about downsizing. Now I'm arguing with my spouse. Now we not having sex. Now, everything is going haywire, right? And that's what I said. We got the monkeys on our neck. The monkeys around your neck is stress, right? So because I chose to skim corners, I didn't feel like forming that LLC. Now my whole life, everything I have planned is now I'm seeing it. I may lose everything all because I didn't want to form a separate LLC. Now, depending on your risk tolerance, depending on how you handle stress, when the monkeys get on your neck, some people can't recover. Now we got divorces. Now we got broken homes. Now I'm giving up on my business dreams, all because I did not structure my business correctly. Now, as a business attorney since 2000, oh, I'm old. I'm about to tell my age. So what's this degree say? Since 2000, I don't know, 2004, 2005. Auntie's old, right? When you look at the cost of something, don't look at the dollar amount of what it's going to cost you today. Look at the cost as to if you don't do it, what is it going to cost you? When the lawsuit hits, when the sheriff pulls up to start seizing assets out of your home, out of your business, you're going to ask yourself, is it worth me paying the $500 to form an additional LLC worth the headache of losing everything? And 9 out of 10 times, the answer is going to be yes. You're going to pay additional money to form your business and have the proper business structure. You can pay now or you can pay later. If you pay later, I promise you it's going to be more. Now, the same scenario. We have Joy's Barbecue. It's slanging and banging. We got the money, we got the cars, we got the equipment. It's paying all the business bills. It's paying all the house bills. It's paying for the kids to be in private school. I got my spouse in a luxury car. I got the kids in Girl Scouts, Jack and Jill, volleyball. And then I formed Joy's Lashes. But you know what? I heard this girl doing this webinar with these cups, and she said that every business needs to have its own entity. Now, I don't know why she said it, but she put some monkeys around her neck and she painted a picture I didn't want. So I just stopped getting my lashes done for 3 months, and I didn't get my nails done for 3 months to save the money up to form my separate LLC. So now I have Joy's Barbecue and I have Joy's Lashes. Same scenario. Too much glue, got on the contact, made the girl blind. She sued me. She got $1 million judgment. She can only collect from the LLC that was doing business with her. Well, Joy's Lashes, like I said, I wasn't that good. Maybe we got a couple $1,000s in the bank. So although she got this $1 million judgment, she can only collect on what the business has. So she gonna get the $2,000 I had in the bank account. That's all she gonna get because that's all this entity had. Joy's Barbecue isn't gonna be touched. The payroll being paid, the rent's being paid. I'm ordering my barbecue, my chicken, my ribs. My kids are still in private school. I'm not cussing and fussing with my spouse. Everything is great in the home front. Jenny and Johnny are still in ballet and football and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. And although I lost everything that Joy's Lashes had, I didn't lose everything. My main source of income is still alive. I am still able to live my life. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this LLC down. I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I'm not that good at lashes. Let me just focus on what I'm good at. But I did not lose everything. This is the importance of having the proper business structure. Okay. So the second the idea comes of, I want to start, we're forming an LLC. We're going to get our EIN number. We're going to have our business bank account, and we're going to pay everything out of the business bank account. The second I think I'm going to do something, I'm forming an LLC. We're not doing DBAs. DBA is don't be asked out. We are forming LLCs, okay, to protect our assets, to reserve our business name, to separate ourselves from the business. And every business idea is going to have a separate entity. Now, the benefit of having a separate entity will be for this. Later on in this conference, you're going to hear about business funding. There's business funding via business credit, where you can establish credit in your business name. You can then walk into a bank and either get vehicle financing, a line of credit, or a loan. There is business funding, excuse me, via business grants. You can apply for grants. They're not going to be based on credit, and you're going to be able to get money that you don't have to pay back. Now, in order to establish business credit or to apply for business grants, you have to have an entity, an LLC or a corporation. If I did what you weren't supposed to do, if I had Joy's Barbecue and Joy's Lashes all in one LLC, I can only apply for a business grant in the LLC name. That's just one business. I can only walk into the bank with the one LLC that I have. If I form my business structure correctly, where I have Joy's Barbecue and I have Joy's Lashes, I have two entities. So Joy's Barbecue and Joy's Lashes can now apply for business grants. Joy's Barbecue and Joy's Lashes can now walk into the bank and get vehicle financing. Joy's Barbecue and Joy's Lashes can now walk into the bank and ask for a line of credit or a loan. So now that I have two entities, it's like two different people that can now get business funding. Okay. So when we're running a business and we're in these business streets, we need to do things correctly. When you do things correctly, we're able to also benefit from the benefits of being a real business, which will be business funding and asset protection. So we formed our business LLC or corporation. I prefer an LLC because it is easier to maintain, meaning the only thing you have to do to keep your LLC active will be to either file the annual report that your state requires, or file the annual report and pay the annual fee. Different states have different requirements. You can contact your Secretary of State to know what's required for you. But forming the LLC is the first step in that business structure, okay? And we're going to form our LLC with the Secretary of State. You want to make sure that we have a business address on our LLC documents, okay? Now, if we can't afford a business address, it's not in our budget, you can put your home address on there. And then once you can afford to have either a brick and mortar business location, or you can get a virtual address, companies like Regis, Opus, physicaladdress.com. A virtual address will be basically a business address that you rent. So when you are applying for business loans, business grants, you are having your information on the World Wide Web via the Secretary of State when you form your LLC, a business address is there and not your home address, okay? We do not want a P.O. box. We do not want a postal service, UPS address. We don't want a post office box. All that looks high risk. Okay, so having a home business and having a P.O. box flags your company as high risk when it comes to business funding. The underwriter is going to Google your address. Apartment shouldn't be coming up and your home shouldn't be coming up. Well, I know people running $1 million businesses out their home, and they are, but every multi-million dollar business has a corporate headquarters. Okay, so no matter how much money you're making in your home, you need to have a corporate headquarters, a business address. So that's where your virtual address will come in if you don't have a brick and mortar address for your business. If you've already formed your LLC and you had your home address on there, you can then amend your LLC with the Secretary of State and put your virtual or your business address on there. Now, the most important address on your LLC documents, which will be called either your articles of organization, your articles of formation, your certificate of formation, or your certificate of organization. Each state calls it something different to be one of those four things, is going to be your registered agent's address. Now, the registered agent is going to be the person that can accept mail on behalf of the company. So if the state is trying to contact you, you forgot to file your annual report, you forgot to file your fee, they're trying to send you something, you didn't file your report, they're about to make your LLC inactive, they're mailing all this correspondence to your registered agent's address. If someone's trying to sue you, the process server who's about to hand you that lawsuit is going to your registered agent's address. Okay, this is the most important address on your LLC documents. So you can either be your own registered agent, you can have your mama be your agent, you can hire a company to be your agent, but every year you want to make sure that you open up your LLC documents and you make sure that the person and the address that's listed for the registered agent is a correct and valid address for this reason. If you forgot to file a form or pay your fee, the state's going to be sending you information. Hey, girl, hey, boy, you need to go ahead and fill out this form or we're going to make your LLC inactive. If you don't get that because it's an old address, well, whose responsibility is that? It's yours. Okay, so once you enter into these business streets, we have to run everything like a real business. When you move your address, when you relocate, it's your responsibility to let the state know, hey, I have moved, contact me here. If the state is mailing you mail to your registered agent's address and you're not getting it, and they're saying, hey, you didn't fill out your annual report, you didn't pay your annual fee, after so long, what the state's going to do is they're going to make your LLC inactive. Okay, so the first part of having that proper structure is going to be forming the correct entity correctly. The second part of keeping this business structure, keeping our asset protection, keeping our foundation is going to be running our business correctly. So the first thing we need to make sure to do that we are filing our annual report and paying our annual fee. If we don't do it, our state's going to make our LLC inactive. If our LLC is inactive, it's like we never even formed it. So if a lawsuit happens while your LLC is inactive, your personal assets are being exposed. You can lose your house, your home, your car because your assets are no longer protected. Now, if someone is trying to sue you, a process server has to go to the address of the registered agent. Depending on the state, a process server can go there 3 times on average, right? If no one is there, if my registered agent is going to be my mama, Joyce, right? And I have it at this address. They're going to go to the address 3 times looking for Joyce. But let's just say I use my old apartment address and I done moved 4 times. So my mama's not there. No one is there by the name of Joyce. The process server is going to go there 3 times and ask for Joyce. If Joyce is not there on that 4th time, the process server can leave the lawsuit at the door of that address. But that's an old address. I'm not there no more. I'm moved. I didn't know. Baby, you're in these business streets. The second you decide to start a business, you as the CEO have certain obligations. And one of those is to make sure that the address of your registered agent is always a correct address. So let's just say someone is mad that Joyce Barbecue is making all this money and they just filed a frivolous lawsuit. People will file lawsuits against you all day, every day. So getting a lawsuit is nothing new, okay? You can get a lawsuit and win. I have won multiple lawsuits, okay? People, when you start making money, they just get mad and they want to get a piece of your pie without having to work. That's just called business. Welcome to the real world. So someone sues Joyce Barbecue. They said that they got sick and they want $10 million. They don't have no doctor's note. They didn't go to the ER. They don't have nothing to verify anything. They're just suing me, okay? A frivolous lawsuit. But I never changed the address for my registered agent. And so the lawsuit went to an address that no one's there. And because I didn't know I would serve the lawsuit, I never answered the lawsuit. In most states, you have 30 days to respond to a lawsuit. If you don't respond within the correct amount of time, the person who is suing you can win based on a default judgment, meaning I sued you, you didn't respond, so I win. So now I done lost a $10 million lawsuit all because I did not even know I was being sued. So you want to make sure that the registered agent is going to be a person, it can be you, and that it's a correct address. So when you get that notice from the state or when you get that lawsuit, you're able to respond immediately. Okay. So on our paper, we want to have a registered agent. We want to have a business or a virtual address. When it comes to naming your LLC, you want to maybe not have a high risk industry in your LLC name. So certain industries, banks consider high risk based on either the high probability of chargebacks or the high probability of you filing bankruptcy. Okay, so industries like trucking, construction, real estate, CBD, tax preparation, credit repair, car dealerships, these are considered high risk. So if I'm going to open up a dealership, I may want to call it J&J Enterprises versus Joy's Car Dealership. Okay. So if you want to kind of mask a high industry name when naming your business, if you're in a high risk industry. So we have a proper name, we have our registered agent's address, that's going to be a correct address, and we have our virtual or business address listed on our articles, so that when someone Googles our business or goes on Secretary of State, they don't see our home address and just pull up to our home, okay? So after we form our LLC the correct way, we're going to make sure that we're filing our annual report and paying our fee to keep our LLC active. Certain industries will require certain types of permits, licenses, or bonds. You have, or insurance. You want to make sure you have all of those things, because if I am in a CBD industry and the industry requires me to have a $1 million bond, if I don't have that and I'm sued, I don't have the proper bond, I don't have the proper insurance, I don't have the proper permit. Well, all what I did is now negated. It's called piercing the corporate veil. So yes, you formed the LLC, but I'm about to say, nope, it's non-existent because you didn't have the proper insurance. You didn't have the proper licenses. You didn't have the proper permit. So although you formed the LLC and you thought you had all this protection, you don't. Another part about running our LLC correctly to have that proper business structure is having an operating agreement. An operating agreement is going to be the contract for your LLC. It's going to govern how it's ran. Even if you're the only member, you need to have an operating agreement. Okay. It's called dotting your I's and crossing your T's. If you were to get sued, the first thing that the opposing counsel is going to do is subpoena your operating agreement. It's a contract that you need to have. If you don't have one, I have a template on my website. If you formed your LLC through a company like InkFile or LegalZoom, 9 out of 10 times, you have an operating agreement. If you formed your LLC with me, I will get you your EIN and your operating agreement. But you got to have an operating agreement because that's going to be the contract that governs your LLC. So after we form our LLC to start our business structure, to keep that structure, we're going to make sure that we have the proper addresses on our LLC. We have the proper licenses, permits, insurance that our industry or our state requires. We're also going to have our operating agreement. And then last but not least, we're going to have proper banking. Okay. So when it comes to a business, although you also own the business, we can't operate like the business is our personal piggy bank. Your banking and the business banking has to be separate if you want to be considered as two separate entities. Here's the problem. I'm running into Walmart real quick and I swipe my business card for my kids' snacks. I'm about to go get my nails done. I swipe my business card for a personal expense. When you what's called commingling funds, when you mix personal and money together, or when you use business money to pay personal expenses, it's called commingling. If you commingle the funds, you're setting yourself up to have your corporate veil pierced, meaning although you form this LLC, they're going to negate it. When you're running your business, you want to make sure that all your business funds are hitting your business bank account. A lot of times when we're starting a business, especially if we're a first generation business owner, we're not taught how to properly run our business. Maybe you've heard things like, girl or boy, don't put that cash in the bank, keep that cash at home. You always want to have some money on hand. Your business bank account is going to be the resume for your business. All of your sales need to hit the business bank account. The first thing you need to have is going to be a point of sale system or a POS system. Something like Stripe, Square, PayPal, but PayPal will play with your money. You want to have something that where you can invoice clients, you can print out receipts, you can take credit card payments, but it will also run a report. Eventually, if you're working your business is going to start making money. When you start making a certain amount of money, sometimes banking institutions don't believe that you're really making this kind of money. Okay. So it's great to when you also have your bank statement showing how much money that you're making. You can also run a report off your point of sale system that mirrors what the bank account says. Say, hey, here are all my sales. At some point in your business career, you're going to want to get financing. You may want to get a corporate card. You may want to get a loan, a line of credit. Everything is going to be based on those business bank statements. The number one problem that small business owners have is that they cannot verify how much money they make. I make $10,000 a month, but the bank statement says 4. Well, see, I got some money over here in Cash App, and then I get paid cash. So we got some money hitting the bank, we got money hitting our personal Cash App, and we got cash that never hits the bank. If I'm in a cash heavy industry, I'm doing hair, lashes, nails, car wash detail. Maybe I made $1,000 today just doing lashes. On the way home, I went to Walmart and got groceries, and I spent that cash. Because the cash never hit the business bank account, my business does not get credit for that. For that reason, you want to have a banking day where every week, 2 days out of the week, I'm putting the cash in the bank. Now, the second the cash hits the bank, you can transfer it to your personal account and pay your personal expenses, but it needs to hit the bank so that when you go to get financing and you pull out your business bank account, it verifies how much money that you're making. But what we don't want to do is have business money hitting our personal cash app or swiping our business card for personal expenses. That's called commingling, and that's how someone can pierce the corporate veil or negate your LLC. So once we form our LLC and we have a correct address for our registered agent and we have a virtual or a business address listed, we're then going to make sure to keep that business structure correct. We're going to file our annual report and pay our annual fee. We're going to make sure we have the correct licenses, permits, and insurance that our industry or our state requires. We're going to have our operating agreement, and we're not going to commingle personal and business funds and personal and business expenses. We're going to keep everything separate so that we can keep the asset protection that the LLC or corporation provides. Okay, so that's going to be the basis of having a proper business structure. I think I'm over my time. I do have slides, but I think slides are boring. But let me just see. As they said slides. They said slides. Hold on. You know what? Slides are boring. I'm just going to keep my presentation how it was. Okay, so that is going to be the basis of having the proper business structure. And for every LLC that you have the proper business structure, they're all going to be able to qualify for business grants and business funding. So it may sound like this is a lot of work, but understand this is to protect you. When something happens, because in business, something's going to happen. I've been in business for over 15 years. Something will happen. You will make a mistake. Your employee will make a mistake. Or there will just be an upset customer who files a frivolous lawsuit. But something will happen in business. What you don't want are the monkeys around your neck. It's one thing to fight a lawsuit and you aren't wrong, or maybe I'm wrong but my structure is right, so I'm going to mitigate my losses. Right? In business, sometimes you will lose. I want to mitigate my loss. I want to lose the least amount as possible. It's easier to be fighting a lawsuit and all the bills are being paid, everything at home is fine, the kids are great, I'm gonna lose this entity, I got to restructure, I got to rebuild, no problem. I can still be creative. I can still navigate. I can still, function in business. I can still go on with life. But when you don't have the proper structure, when you formed it, but it became inactive, when you formed it, but you didn't have the operating agreement, when you formed it, but you were commingling funds, and then when something happens, now we're stressed. Now we have the monkeys. Now you're realizing I may lose my assets. I may lose my home. I may lose the money in the account. Now I'm either not eating or I'm overeating. Now I'm stressed. When you're stressed, you can't be creative. When you're stressed, you can't function. Now it's like a slow motion domino snowball effect of just bad news over bad news over bad news, all because I didn't form the proper structure or I didn't run it the right way. Something will happen in business. So when something does happen, you want to make sure that you have a strong foundation to stand on to weather the storm. I made a mistake, but my structure's fine. I'm able to mitigate my losses. I'm not going to lose everything. I can rebuild from this. So although what I'm saying may sound simple, it may sound, it is the most important part of your business. Well, that will conclude the business structure presentation. I hope everyone, was able to take good, copious notes and understand that good things and bad things will happen in business. As long as we learn from our mistakes and we don't repeat them, that just helps us grow our business faster. Okay, so if you made one of these mistakes, it's not going to be the end of the world. If you need to update your address on your LLC, If you need to change your registered address on your LLC, you can always amend your LLC with the Secretary of State, file an amendment. If you've been commingling business funds, stop. Just stop. Hey, you were doing it wrong. If you don't have a business bank account, get one now. And from now on, we are going to have a proper business banking. From now on, we're not going to commingle funds. If you maybe have started industry and we don't have the proper license because your homegirl said you don't need all that, you don't have the proper bond or insurance, go and get that now, right? You formed your own LLC, you didn't have an operating agreement, go on my website and get your operating agreement. Whatever mistake you made, it's just spilled milk, it happened, that's fine. Moving forward, we're going to get all of our ducks in a row. Okay. So if you can't afford to get any of these things now, make a to-do list. I need X, Y, and Z. So it's Christmas time. Instead of asking for a new bag, ask for a virtual address paid up for a year, right? Ask for the proper insurance, ask for an operating agreement, right? When you get some money coming in, you can now start checking off the things that you need to be running your business correctly. Your clients are used to cash apping you. Think about these monkeys. Think about if you lost everything, is whose life is more important, your life or being convenient for your client? Your client isn't going to walk into Walmart and ask to cash app the cashier. The client's going to respect Walmart's systems and procedures. You are Walmart. You are just like Walmart. How am I like Walmart? You are taking your time to run the business. You've emptied out your 401k. You've depleted your savings. You are missing out on time on family and friends to start this business. You're doing the same thing that Mr. Walton did to start his business. So what makes Walmart different than you? Nothing. So when your clients come in, hey, can I cash? Oh, I'm so sorry. I do not accept Cash App, but you can either pay with a credit card or you can pay me cash. Girl, I can't Cash App you. No, ma'am, I'm so sorry. We have a new policy. We are no longer able to accept Cash Apps. That Cash App is commingling. That Cash App has your house, your car, your bank account exposed. So is it worth the Cash App? It's not. And if that client doesn't respect your business, how they respect Walmart, all money isn't good money. Okay, so that's just not going to be your client. They can go somewhere else because you're running your business like it's Walmart, a real business, because you're not going to get caught slipping on the back end. So whatever mistake you have made that I've just told you about, it's no problem. We're going to fix it, and moving forward, we're going to then run everything correctly like we're Walmart. Okay. Everyone have a great day, and I hope you guys learned something.